Welcome back for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Find us on Facebook.com/SuperFunPodcast, Twitter.com/SuperFunPodcast, Patreon.com/SuperFunPodcast, Instagram at SuperFunPodcastGo, iTunes at Superfun Game Review Podcast Go. Thanks and enjoy the show.
Welcome back, everyone, for another episode of Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go! I'm hosting tonight. My name's Ralph, and to my left, I have the Clark man, Clark.
I got hit in the face with a shovel, and now I talk like this.
Pretty accurate. And across from me, I have Harry. Wait, was that Harry or Rambo? I can't tell. And to my right, I have Steve.
I cover you now, Rambo.
Oh.
I got sad.
Rambo, I need ammo. Ambo, Rambo. I need ammo.
Do the QTE.
You hit triangle now. Triangle. Yeah, okay, great. So, all jokes aside, we are reviewing Rambo, the video game.
Now,
for the PlayStation 3. Yes, you heard me right. You
said
saw the title. Jokes aside. Jokes aside. I know I said it, but really, jokes aside, this game exists. It's real. It's real. I bought it in a store, and I gave it to Bob as a Christmas gift. I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry, Bob.
I think I speak for the podcast when I say, fuck you, Ralph.
What? What? You can't do that. No.
To let you know, this was Ralph's pick. Yeah, no, I'm going to call you out. Fuck that.
All right, just throw me under the bus like that.
But at the same time, I'm very glad you did, because this is probably going to get my highest rating.
Naturally. No. Oh, naturally. No. Oh, of course. Completely. All right, great. Well, thanks for the segue. Let's get into our initial impressions here. Clark, hit me.
It's been a really long time since I saw any of the Rambo movies, and I wanted to watch them after beating this game just to see how awful they were in comparison to how terrible this game is.
You're in for a shock. Harry?
I knew nothing about this. You actually brought this to light. I did a little bit of review hunting before we actually dived into the game, and I knew it was getting some trashy scores. And we'll see how my personal score stacks up.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And I have to just preface this whole thing with, I'm sorry. I don't want to say the Rambo films are like the upper echelons of top-tier action, but you can watch them and enjoy them. I think, anyway. You can enjoy them for what they are. And if this is your first experience to it, then I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Anyway, Steve, go.
The only thing I knew about this game was I saw some clips online once, and that was about it. So when you brought it up, I was kind of sad, but kind of excited.
You were curious? You wanted to know how?
A little bit. How? I was a little Rambo curious.
I didn't know they made a... Oh, my God, really? You were wondering, how could they make a Muppets Rambo film, right? Clearly
I was wondering,
an animated puppet. How do they do that?
I was wondering how they could take so many movies and put it into one extraordinary game. And I'm so glad I got to find that out.
You
can't
took the
even
words
say it
right
with
out
a
of my
straight
mouth.
face.
I know.
He doesn't need to.
You can't
Okay.
even say it with a straight
It's a podcast, not a video. We're good. Classic. Okay, great. Yeah, so Rambo, for me, I've seen the movies. I like the movies. I haven't watched them that recently, but I know enough and remember enough to know that this game fucking botched all of it. It's just botched, screwed the pooch, fucked it up.
I'm sorry.
Fucked it.
What game
gone.
did you play?
Yeah.
I had a completely different experience.
You played Rambo for the NES.
Oh no, I played Rambo the video game, but I don't understand where this is coming from.
Okay, we'll get to the story part. You can talk about that, but a fan of the films. This game, I guess, was made by people who are also fans of the films, but they, to quote Bob, they fucked it up.
Fuck them.
Fuck them. They fucked it up.
Fuck them. Scarface the video game is
all right.
best.
Yeah. Well, no, I don't think that one's any good either. But okay, yeah. Let's go right into game development.
Game development.
So when they were developing this game, they spent an entire week and a half with the entire production of this property, which I think is very apparent. No,
I'm calling bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's
bullshit. This was made in like Ukraine and off of some VHS copies that was dubbed in their native language, and they just don't understand anything.
Whoa.
That might have hit a little too harsh.
It was
a little too close to home.
Well, it was a Polish studio.
Oh, were they Polish?
Reef Entertainment.
Yeah, well, it was actually Teon and published by Reef Entertainment, which I don't know how you take a series like Rambo, which I get it. It's a lot of like American guns and glory and everything else, touching on Vietnam and the struggle of John Rambo, and how this beautiful crystal of a game was brought to life.
Beautiful crystal, yes.
So what I remember reading was that this company, who I don't think I've heard of much since, they were going to use this as a platform to start developing games.
Yep.
I don't know if they made it.
Yeah, I haven't seen any hard sales figures for this game. I imagine it's under 100,000. I don't think their launch happened.
Yeah,
I don't think they successfully deployed their company. I think it's just no, one and done.
Once I read that too, I just stopped reading about the game development. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't care enough. Like this,
but
okay.
But you had such heartfelt feelings about how important the game was to you after you finished it. I thought for sure you'd go back.
So we decided to only use one copy of this. I had it first, and I really thought about snapping it so none of you had to experience.
Well, now wait a minute. Wait. It's not your copy to do that.
I understand, and that's the only reason that I did it.
That's fine. If you want to find a nice mint in box copy somewhere, I'm sure it's going for high dollars.
Yeah, maybe about like
4 or
like
5,
two or three.
Well, the sad thing about this is I called around trying to get a hold of a copy just to make it a little easier on everybody. There were only new games on the market going for $20. And when I called around to a lot of the local shops, trade-in shops, apparently this game has never been traded in. So...
do you know why? Because people take it out and they're like, snap it in half. And they're like, shit, I can't trade this in. I was only going to get 10 cents for it anyway. Fuck it.
To be honest, Rambo fans probably use it for target practice, which is not a complete waste of time, I'll tell you. But, yeah, that is very interesting that it either didn't sell or the people who bought it have kept it. Harry, do you have anything that you saw of note?
I know this gets kind of into the audio of the game a little bit.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
I know
Okay.
they ran into some issues with the voice acting for the game. So
You don't say.
Yeah, so they ended up pulling video or audio clips directly from
A VHS tape.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we'll get into this when it comes to sound, but what's funny, Clark, about that is I felt that everybody...
Taped off of the TV.
Everybody else... Right.
USA Special.
Yeah. No, but what I wanted to say was that I really feel every other voice except for Troutman and Rambo, they sound like they were recorded on a VHS tape. But Rambo and Troutman, they sounded like they ripped them straight from the Blu-ray. So there's a bit of a disparity there where it's like, wow, that's so-and-so, we gotta go get him. Or, I am Ruski, we will destroy Rambo, where are the missiles, where are they? And everybody else comes in like perfectly clear, like.
Oh, you noticed that too?
Anyway,
I mean,
we'll get into
we
that.
should be saving that, but
Yeah.
still.
But Harry, still a very good point.
Yeah.
That of course they didn't actually contact Sylvester Stallone and pull him into a studio and get him to re-record this dialogue. They just ripped it straight from the films.
Now, does anybody know? Did Stallone actually endorse this game at all?
I don't think so.
It would be
no, I don't know.
Are you kidding me? He was writing the Expendables at that time. He's not
how
going
did
to
they get
waste
the
his
license
time.
for this game if he wasn't like a supporter?
They
of it?
paid money to the actual company,
Studio.
to the studio who made Rambo and got the licensing for it.
I doubt they made their money back.
No, they probably spent way more than what they were expecting to happen.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're developing a game that has the name of Rambo, that has such I don't want to say cult following, but it's so well known, especially in American culture, and you can't just do something more than rail shooter?
To be fair, they probably could have just even called it something else because the Rambo doesn't even look like Sylvester Stallone in the game.
But I mean, true.
He looks like a melted plastic doll that was Sylvester Stallone.
And Sylvester Stallone hand-coded the entire game.
Like this, with his fist, punching the keyboard with his fist.
Just with his jaw, repeatedly headbutting the card. It's like, this is going to look great.
He just took an
Well, you know, he
M16.
couldn't get any like momentum if he was using his head because he has no fucking neck.
Okay.
Well, no,
Sylvester Stallone
listen,
aside.
that aside, though, like I do want to say, it's a pretty bad sign when they have to put the video game in the title. Like,
I couldn't tell the difference.
Well, because there was already a Rambo game.
yeah, I know, but I mean, they could have done some spin-off title or something like that, or add something after Rambo. But no,
The saga.
Trilogy.
Well, I mean, keep in mind with Reef, the biggest ones they're known for is Rambo the video game and Terminator the video game.
Are you kidding?
So no, I'm not kidding.
I didn't see that anywhere, really?
So there's probably a reason you didn't actually see that anywhere.
Was Terminator before or after this?
I think it was after.
I don't think anything happened after this. I think everyone who made this game died in a car fire.
I think it made
couch fire.
I'll double check
Couch
it.
fire.
I'll double check it, but like when I was doing some research on Reef, those are the only two things that popped up.
I think you're going to have to go on the deep or dark web because that shit is buried.
I imagine that like Arnold and Sylvester are like just like hanging out one time and they're just talking.
Sly, have you seen this game that we made? Look at this. This is you. Can't you tell? That's not me. No, really, it's you. Look right there. You see the size of your hands are almost as big as your huge afro. That's you. Look, see. That's not me. Maybe you should just let it go, Arnie. Let it go. No, look, there it is. That's you.
I was thinking.
Just keep going.
No, I can't. I was thinking more along the lines of.
What's so funny?
Hey, Sylvester. God damn it! I can't do it.
Can't do anything. Just to cut you off real quick. Terminator's the video game.
Terminators.
Terminators. The video game.
Wait, S? There's an S in it.
Yes, Terminators.
Oh, fucking A. Are you kidding me?
Was August of 2013, and Rambo, the video game, not Rambo's, that's a little different. The video game was April 2014. So we're only talking 8 months? Something like that.
Well,
Maybe-
yeah,
maybe
because
10?
as soon as Sylvester Stallone got done destroying the studio, they allowed Arnold to come in and just destroy the studio, and he made Terminators because that was a spelling mistake.
This is my new game. Now that I'm no longer the governor, I'm going to make this wonderful Terminator game, and everyone will buy it, and it will be great.
Excuse me, Terminators.
The Terminators.
But there's more than one of me. What are you doing with my faces? No, it'll be all right when they come in, and then they
There's an S on the end of it.
Terminators. I want clones of me everywhere. That's why I have 25 illegitimate children with my maid, my housekeeper, my wife's friends, model, everybody else. I want clones of me all over the universe.
They are all the Terminators because they are terminating all of the maids around the world.
They will grow up to look just like me and be big and strong, and we will destroy all the Sylvester Stallone clones that we can find.
I don't know what you're talking about because
know exactly what I
there's
mean.
more than me of you. How many Rambos? I got bows. See, it's in the name of the title, Rambo. Shoot a bow.
I can't believe there's a Terminators game made by the same company, and I have never heard of it. I can't believe that is a thing.
I've never heard of the Terminators franchise.
Yeah, there are so many, I don't even know.
All right, well,
So much for game development.
I think that's about it.
Yeah, that's game development right there.
Sloppiest fucking game development ever.
I don't care. That is how those games were made.
It is wonderful and sloppy, just like me and my housemate 25 years ago. Where have you been?
I made the Terminator by
My final
having sex
point.
with the computer while making the Terminators
I
game.
terminated my load right into her bomb.
I just want to say my last note of game development. I developed something that looked a hell of a lot better about 15 minutes upstairs in the toilet than this game.
Jesus.
Final say.
You get a slow clap for that. That
Thank
was a good
you.
One. That was a good one.
Are you referring to poop?
It was poop.
I took a poop that looks better than Sylvester Stallone in this game 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, what are you talking about?
That's
I look
not
great.
possible. I had enough stem cells that I look great. I
Which
look
I'm waiting for
fabulous.
graphics because they did
Graphics?
hit one very big key point
What
in this
graphics?
game, but
No.
I'm waiting for graphics.
I don't know
All
what
right.
you're talking about. All right, let's
Just
move
wait.
into the story of John J. Rambo.
Story.
Let's go. Story.
This is a shit show.
All right, so real quick, before anybody says anything, I just want to say that we are not going to recap the entire trilogy of the Rambo films, but I
No.
will say in in a brief manner, as brief as I can make it.
Like the game.
Yeah, right. No, I'm not going there. They completely fucked up the story. They botched it. They invented this scenario where Rambo is dead, and at a funeral, someone is giving his life story who is a POW from
His
the camp. from the
eulogy?
second- his eulogy, whatever. Sure, I gotcha.
He's being eulogized.
It's all bullshit, though. It's all bullshit. It doesn't come from any of the films. It doesn't come from anything. Why is the game set in 1988 so that the third movie is present day? Who knows? Who cares? I don't. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Basically, John Rambo is a super uber badass ex-military fighter who, in the first film, basically goes into town, gets bullied by some cops, snaps. He kills, I think, only one or two people in the films anyway. The books are different.
Let's just put timeline. He was in Nam.
He was in Nam, sure.
He saw some shit in Nam.
Sure, yeah,
And then
yeah.
he goes back and tries to be, which you begin the story in Nam, but then kind of ish. Okay, all right.
No. In the game, you do. They sort of have
game.
that.
We're sticking to
scene
the
that we
game.
don't
We're
know
not going to
about
bring
that.
up the actual
Yeah,
movie.
I don't wanna
so let's,
get into
I
the
just,
movies.
I just wanted to. Okay, sure.
you wanted a little asterisk as like a little pretense to everything.
I just
get
wanted to
it.
say that it does follow the story of the three films before the fourth movie, and basically he just gets into a lot of action sequences. That's what this game is. There's very little character development or anything like that. There's none of that. Basically, it's Rambo's here and he's going to kill people, and that's it.
so it's exactly like the movies.
Well, no, I actually feel that the movies have some character development for Rambo. I mean, yeah, I know you're fucking with me, but I'm just saying, like, I don't know how to say it.
Well,
Like,
because you don't want to be.
the game's
rude
like a
to the-
coloring book, and the trilogy's like a novel, I guess you could say. But again,
That's
there's
actually
no
a really good way to put it.
there's no high-handed drama in the Rambo franchise. You're right, absolutely.
I would say the game's like a Mad Lib, and the trilogy's like a coloring book.
Yeah, kind of. It's almost like a drunk history of the franchise. If you,
That is a really good way to put it. Man, you're on the ball.
I'm on fire.
You're
So-
on the bar. You understand?
What do you guys want to say about the story?
I don't have much to say about the story. It's not really present, except for the whole overarching funeral, which is really made up for the fucking game.
It's just there to, I guess, make the
As your
chapters work better.
segue into each of the chapters. That's pretty much it. You start
Yeah,
in Nam. You're done with Nam. You're tried to allocate back into society, and then it does follow a little bit of the movie with the guy hanging out of the helicopter trying to snipe him off the side. Falls to his death, and then apparently you run around the woods for a while and start stabbing cops in the neck, which
Wait, that's
Doesn't happen in the
not,
movie, though.
That's not
I think
in
we're
the
getting
movie.
in the recap in the movie though, and I don't
Yeah,
think we
but-
need to.
but
do
no,
that.
I don't want to do that. Yeah.
Just following through, at least with game wise. Okay, then you're hunting police in the forest of Washington, and then there's a standoff in town. The standoff goes bad for John Rambo, as you
Goes
can.
bad for the town too.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, they lose pretty much like 130 officers of their police force.
Yeah,
And
'cause that
then
little fucking town has 130 fucking police officers, which is
Well,
ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, in all the scenarios, the number of enemies on screen, and again, this is not story, but it was just way over the top and ridiculous, which is an interpretation of the films, I guess, but still.
all right, and then Rambo goes to jail, and then the commander comes back, says, "Hey, we have this top secret mission."
Hold on, let's not recap the whole fucking
It's
thing.
there's not much to recap. I'm going to be done in 30 seconds, and then you get sent over to what was it, Korea? No.
It's Vietnam.
No, Vietnam.
It's Vietnam in 1985 where there are still POWs, apparently.
Yeah, and then you go to rescue them, and then that goes bad. Your commander's captured, and then you go to Afghanistan. End of story. That is pretty much it.
You go to Afghanistan, you break him out of jail, and then you fight like the entire Soviet army in
Everybody.
Afghanistan.
There is your story.
That's it.
Nothing is pertained. If you call it Rambo the video game, it barely follows the movies.
Well, actually, one thing I did want to say about the story was that I find it funny that both Rambo 3 and the game end sort of the same way. Like, after all these explosions and ridiculous nonsense, they just kind of get in a Jeep and, like, drive away at the end. That's it. Like, there's no
There's
real
a feel-good
There's
story.
no real like.
Dead Rooskies.
I don't want to say ending, but
Hey, we're friends.
It's an action movie.
I know. No. I know. No.
Okay, so let's take one scene that kind of bugs me, and this is not seeing the movies.
The jail?
There was almost a rape scene at, I think it was the police station. I don't know the way they said it, but the police were coming at.
You're projecting.
Hands
No,
above
they
your
said
head,
something.
boy.
Like I forget what they said, but they mentioned soap and prison. And
All right. Okay, hold on.
They were going to beat him with soap. In a
No,
sock.
wait. Stop.
I don't.
Hang on.
I don't think that was
That-
where it was
and-
going.
They're going to shave him because in the movie he actually has like a bit of a beard. In the game he doesn't. He has one character model and they just put different clothes on him. But they were going to shave him with a razor, and they said forget the soap. Do him dry or whatever. I think that might be what you heard.
Okay, maybe.
Because you're just like shave him dry.
They meant
That's
his
when Harry
face,
started
not his
masturbating.
butthole.
Seriously.
I mean, Harry, I'm not.
I don't know. I was just like taken aback. I could, but you
This
could
game
see from
just
my
got
point.
hot.
Yeah, okay. And then what happens in the film? Because this is funny. This is funny though because you haven't seen the films. You don't have any context. You just have these weird. You have these weird like video game hand puppet scenarios. It's so stupid.
Harry's just sitting there and they're like, take him dry. And Harry's like,
Dude, it's not American History X, okay? It's not American History X. It's actually not even Rambo. It's First Blood, okay? Basically, the razor gets close to his face and it triggers a flashback to when he was a POW. And that's when he's sort of like, get off
that's
me.
the movie. That's not
the
the game.
movie, yes.
But no,
that's what that
he
scene
does,
is.
He does freak out in the game because they
Yeah.
start coming towards him with the razor, and that's when he like front kicks the guy in the chest, and that's when it kind of like he's triggered. That's when he's triggered.
That's when he's triggered. You're right. But yeah, just to...
oh, you mean the entire level that was a fucking QTE?
Yeah,
How many of those were there, though?
there's
so
a couple.
many. We'll get into that.
it's about 4 or 5. I don't know. That was
But yeah, listeners, I mean, if you have seen any of the Rambo films, you know that this game basically botches the whole timeline, the whole thing. There's not much else to say, really. If you've never seen a Rambo film, don't even play this game. Don't even look at its direction, okay? If you have any interest in seeing any of the Rambo movies and you haven't caught them on TV on like a holiday weekend or something, just go out, buy First Blood. It's not a bad action movie. And then from there, they get a little hokey. I kind of think they're a guilty pleasure, but this is definitely not the place to find or experience Rambo for the first time.
This is where you should start because this is going to
No.
But it's going to be great. They're going to love it.
Let it go.
Love
So
it.
would you say that our listeners should not do them dry?
You know what? I don't think he actually says that. I think he says shave him dry is what he says.
No,
You said do them,
I know,
and that's
no,
what I'm
because-
sticking
no.
with.
If they said shave them dry, I wouldn't have thought like that was going to be that kind of scene.
All right,
Willie, do him dry.
Whatever their wording was, totally no. That was legit. Fuck that.
Now was that
Okay.
Did they pull the movie audio or actually
No.
have someone in studio?
See,
for
that's
that
the
one?
thing. If
Yeah.
it wasn't Rambo and it wasn't Colonel Troutman, it was some bozo in a studio trying to mimic a voice from the films.
Perfect.
No offense.
'Cause
Actually, you know what? I'm offended. All offense.
There we go.
Let's move right into gameplay.
Gameplay, my favorite.
Gameplay.
All right, gameplay.
Gameplay. So,
I do-
where to begin?
I do want to preface the gameplay where this actually could have been a good game if it wasn't a rail shooter. I actually probably would have enjoyed, regardless of how much they butchered it compared to the movies.
You're right, Steve. If this was a kart racer, it would have been much better.
But no, even if it was kind of like a third-person game of like Gears of War, where you could take your own cover while you're running through the forest, or take your own cover while you're in the case of Afghanistan, instead of having to rely on that, I think this could have been something better than what it was. And that's not really holding it to a standard, because a lot of things could have made it better.
Yeah, I was going to say, I agree.
But that's the one positive thing I have is that it could have been something more. And
That's not
I
really a
think-
positive, though. That's a negative.
Well,
You're just saying what it isn't.
true. That's what I wanted out of this was
You wanted it to be a third-person
third-person
cover
shooter. I mean, you could have gone first person, That would have been a cheap way. But I think if there was more time actually put into it, then they had a good. All right, here's a weird analogy. They had a very good piece of clay that they could have molded this into. And instead of taking the time to shape it and make it into something decent, they just put it on the table, pounded it with their fist, and then took a giant shit on it and then slapped their dick in it. That's what they did.
Okay, I was going to say I think they took a pile of shit and shaped it into a turd, but okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, all right, well, instead of the clay,
All right, yes.
they just
Do
had
some
shit.
more analogies involving poop, guys.
There we go.
They took a piece of poop, they shaped it, it was still a piece of poop.
It's just a shaped piece of
I'm
poop.
just,
Yeah,
Steve, I'm just fucking
no.
with you. Okay, so, yeah, it's, 2014, and it's a rail shooter?
Yeah.
And it's not even a light gun,
No.
rail shooter.
That would have
It's
made even
like-
more
You
fun.
can play it with the PlayStation Move.
All right.
You can?
Yes.
I have
That would have been like a little bit better.
I have a two-pronged point that I want to make that this will cover into graphics as well.
Prong one.
Prong one, playing this game, I felt like it was made for the Wii. Now, I understand that PlayStation Move is basically Sony's answer to Wii motion controls.
It's
But,
done better.
okay, you can say that.
Damn.
But
It just didn't have the support.
well, okay, it didn't have the support, sure. It sort of missed the boat with motion controls, I would say. However, graphically, I feel it's on like the same plane. Like I feel like this game was made for the Wii from the beginning, and then somebody was like, "Oh, you know what? Let's just transfer it over to the PlayStation 3. Like nobody's buying Wiis anymore." And they're like, "Yeah, okay." And they upgraded the graphics. Like it almost looks like a PlayStation 2
Did they upgrade the graphics?
Well, hold on.
That, it actually looks like a Wii game.
Right, but the Wii was not HD. This game is in HD. It just looks like shit. It looks like a poor HD remake where all the models for the characters and all the graphics and backgrounds and everything, again, this is graphics, not gameplay, but they look like they were sort of scaled up to meet the platform. Anyway, back to the gameplay. It really felt like you should just be pointing and shooting the whole time. It felt like that's what the game was designed for, and all of us played it with just a regular DualShock 3 using the analog sticks, which sucked.
It was a pain.
Yeah.
It sucked.
Well, it already with how where they start off on the scale for the sensitivity for the crosshairs, at that 50% was like way off. I had to turn that down to like 30, just so that way it can be a little bit more accurate, so I can actually get through this hunk of shit.
I just adapted to it. I didn't change any settings on it.
Yeah, I didn't care enough to go in and change the settings and like find the sweet spot for myself. I was like, "Fuck this."
Now, in regards to the reticle, then, there was a lot of times when you're switching, like maybe turning 90 degrees or proceeding and then making a slight turn. A lot of times it would shift my reticle all the way to the side of the screen.
Oh, yeah, or
And
in
I
the
was
corner.
like, I was starting to assume, like, all right, cool. I can see that guy. I'm going to turn just on him and then start firing, but I'm all the way off to the right of the screen.
Well, if you I noticed what that was. If you didn't move your joystick in the direction that the camera was turning, it just veers off.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let's keep that in.
I don't know
because
why.
that works.
Great job there.
You know,
guys.
we have
Yeah.
people testing the game, and
No, I don't think so.
apparently that's not a problem.
I don't know.
I don't know. That frustrated me a lot
Yeah.
of times.
There were segments where you didn't know when you would have cover, so you would reload, and surprise, there are 4 guys in front of you, all shooting you, and you can't get to cover.
True.
There were instances where that was just poorly optimized. There was no indicator for that. You didn't have any idea when you would be attacked with a bunch of people, or you would be spinning around. You would be in cover or available for cover, or this or that. There was absolutely nothing. It was total chaos the whole time, which is kind of like the films, but it really it was complete chaos the entire time. I will say that on a positive note, I do actually think I enjoyed some of the stealth segments, probably because they were a breath of fresh air and they were really easy.
They're a breath of fresh air.
What I mean is, instead of it being go 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 reload go 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 reload go go go, it was okay. Push this to sneak here. Use the bow here. Yeah, to me, using the bow was actually kind of satisfying.
I like that.
Where
did.
and again, I don't want to. I'm going to give this game like 1 good percentage point. Some of those stealth segments, and I think it comes from just the chaotic nature and the poorly optimized gameplay and everything of the other segments. But when it came to a sneaking section where you were actually doing the QuickTime events, some of those I liked.
Like when you're going through the base and you have the option. You can go in.
I did like that. I went stealth because I never failed a stealth segment in the entire game.
I went stealth, but you have the option between stealth or go in guns blazing. I chose stealth because that's just how I like to play games anyway. And where they actually mixed it up a little bit where, all right, it was sneaking around, and then you had some QTE events where, it was whether, just like sneaking up behind someone. One thing I did like, a lot of knife in the throats. That was fun. I'll take it. And then...
Sick fuck.
I know. But where it mixed it up a little bit, where it's like, all right, you sneak, here's a spotlight going, you have to wait for it to move to another area, hit the button so you sneak in the right time, and then you come around the corner, and it lets you know, get ready. So get ready means, okay, you have a QTE coming up, and then you stab them in the neck,
right?
And then as soon as that's done, it ready the bow, and you bring up the bow. That's actually something that gave me a glimpse of, this seems like the only thing in the entire game they actually paid attention to, because this was probably one of the few times playing this game I enjoyed it.
Again, I think I'm overhyping the stealth segments just because the other stuff was so bad, but I sort of had, it was refreshing to me when all I had to, because I never I failed like once or twice a QuickTime event. I just, when it got to that point, okay, here's something, it's not completely a pile of shit, and I got through it and kind of enjoyed it. Like I said, that's my one point that I'll say that was good about the gameplay. Also, there were some segments of the game where I would just consistently get perfect reloads, which we didn't talk about. The jamming, you lose, I think it's half a magazine. A normal reload is a normal fixed number, and then a perfect reload, magically you have twice as much ammo, which breaks all laws of physics, but is the game mechanic. Sometimes you just get on a roll, you keep getting those perfects, and that was satisfying to keep that combo going.
Mm-hmm. See, that actually, so I had the timing pretty down where I was consistently not getting jams, and I had it a few times where I could see yellow on the other side of where the bar stopped, and I'd get a jam, and it started fucking pissing me off.
Oh, well,
to the point where one time it was happening so consistently with this one gun. I was standing there, I got a foot away from my TV screen, and I was watching it, and I could see entire pixels of yellow on the other side of where I stopped it.
Oh man, it's almost like this game was poorly designed.
Yeah,
Who would've
it was
thought?
bad.
Fuck.
To what you were saying about the stealth, I think that's probably the, I don't even want to say best because there's not a good part
The
of this
only
game.
redeeming quality?
I wouldn't even say redeeming.
No, I wouldn't say that.
It was the only enjoyment that I had from this game.
Okay, so I'm not
other
alone in
than
that.
hating it. My sheer hatred of this game made it fun just because I knew how awful it was and how much I would get to trash it tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, this game is bad. And the gameplay,
I don't like QuickTime events, by the way. I know I said that I enjoyed them for this, but QuickTime events in general, I can't stand. In this game, it almost made me like them.
Let's talk about the fucking difficulty of the last fucking level for a second.
Sorry, before we get
Yeah.
too far away from it, because you guys were, I know we already got a little ways from it, but that one mission where you do get to choose guns blazing or stealth.
Right.
Yeah.
I did go stealth, and I was having a little bit of difficulty. So then the next time I died, I went and I was like, guns blazing. There was the first set of enemies that I hit. I could not shoot them. Every bullet I was firing was hitting the cover that was right in front of me, to the point where I couldn't do any kind of damage. I was forced into the stealth mode.
Game-breaking
Wow.
glitch.
Would have
It was
never
very,
imagined.
Yeah, it was very, very frustrating. And I was just like, cool, I'm actually forced in this way because there was no achievable method to get through the other way.
That sucks.
I found it annoying with the reloading where if you could hit a perfect reload, get, magical double ammo, use a little bit of it, and I just like to have as much stock as I can, like you're saying when it was going cutscene between one spot and then he's going amongst the other, where you could have 170 bullets. If you jam up, then it just automatically picks up from half. See, that was one thing where I don't know if you guys noticed, where you could go down with the amount of ammo you had if you fucked up the next reload.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that happened to me actually when Harry and I were playing the last level.
One thing I did kind of like, though, was even if you fucked up the reload, if you stayed in cover, you can try to reload as many times until you hit what you're looking for, whether it's a normal reload or the, perfect reload.
That's true. I mean, eventually someone might, jump over the rock and try to shoot you, but there is no time limit for the chapters or segments.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can sit there and wait for a perfect reload when you know there are a lot of guys above that rock.
All right, let's talk about the difficulty of the last fucking
All right, go
level.
ahead.
You mean of the entire game and then just the last mission?
No,
period.
the game was easy as fuck. That last level, though, is fucking ridiculous.
Which, do you mean the whole Afghanistan chapter or just
Yeah.
the last part of the
some
Afghanistan chapter?
some of like the caves in Afghanistan were difficult, especially if you didn't know to like shoot the rocks and stuff. The last actual level with like the tank,
We have to talk about this then, Harry.
and yeah, like that fucking level is brutal as fuck. You literally have to just kind of die on repeat until you realize patterns. You have to just like recognize everyone's pattern.
Yeah.
Like because they only give you like the 5 fucking grenades, and then they put heavy guys there that you can't accurately shoot,
or they're
and
too
shit
close
like
to
that.
you and you'll blow yourself up if you hit them.
Yeah, like it's just so cheap, and it's like the worst. It's the worst kind of difficult, where it's just frustrating because you can do it, you've done it already, but you didn't quite hit that checkpoint before you died, and now you're back doing the whole fucking thing again.
Well, at least just to kind of give a little bit of insight, because I have a feeling a lot of people haven't played this game, and
Good point.
Don't fucking play this game.
Don't play this game.
Where the normal mode for this game is you have basically 5 respawns for each chapter.
In each checkpoint.
Yeah, you really don't need to use any of them. Like, yeah, once or twice when you get caught off guard or that guy comes over the rock and shoots you down, it's like
Right.
I pretty much never lost throughout the whole 5.
Or a grenader hits you while you're in cover.
Yeah, the grenaders were
Or
such a pain in the
grenadier.
dick. But that very last level where it's like you go through the entire game, and even through the caves, yes, it was a pain, but they at least gave you where it was like glowing red.
Yeah,
it's
the
like, I'm
glowing
going to
rocks.
shoot this, see if something happens. And then on the very last one, it's like, all right, we're just going to literally throw everything at you with the kitchen sink and go fuck yourself. That was like the worst part of this game. That was when the aggravation happened because honestly, this playthrough should only take about 3.5, 4 hours. This took me close to 4 hours, and I talked about it with Clark before this. Like, that last mission in itself took a good 35, 45 minutes by itself. That shouldn't be the way, you have to play through a game.
Yeah, they pad out the length of the game by making the final couple chapters more difficult. I do have to say that Harry and I co-opted from the caves on, was it?
So basically, Afghanistan.
No, it was the one mission before the caves when we were.
That's
when
right.
we were free.
You get in the fort.
Yeah.
So I had played single-player campaign almost in a sitting up until the first Afghanistan level, and I could not beat the first Afghanistan level. And the whole time I used the 5 checkpoints, the standard difficulty. And then after a couple times, I was like, fuck it, I'm just going to go unlimited because I'm not getting anywhere. I spent probably 2 hours on the first chapter of Afghanistan. Jeez. So I started to get really frustrated with it, and I thought, okay, so this is the difficulty spike. After I got through that, though, Harry came over. He needed to finish the last... He was in the caves, I think you said, was where
I was
you
in the
were at.
caves.
I hadn't gotten there yet. So the mission before that, we co-opted it and found that the game doesn't get any more difficult. They don't add enemies. They don't do anything. It's
That
just,
doesn't-
So it's
that
just two
doesn't
guns.
surprise me.
That's just the same.
That doesn't surprise me because they probably fucking designed it to accommodate 2 people
From the get-go.
From the get-go, and if you're single player, you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. It was still weird because you compete with the QTEs that we
that's
thought
right.
was very weird.
Wait, what?
It shows like if you have to hit triangle to stab somebody, triangle is on both sides of the screen, and it's like, oh, you can compete to see who can get a perfect.
And I think that the best
Who
one is
hits
the one
it
that gets picked. But we found that helped a lot with the difficulty.
Yeah.
So
I
don't
would take
think-
turns. We would take
Yeah,
turns
absolutely.
reloading. Like, hey, I have to reload. You cover the screen.
naturally
kind of thing.
it cuts the difficulty in half. So
Were you both Rambo?
Yeah. because it wasn't until the end that, and I know where you're going with this, because I thought the same thing, because when you get to the fort, there's one part where you're like stealthing around or whatever, and I was like, oh, is there going to be like another Rambo with a blue headband instead of a red headband or something like that?
That would have been great. I would have loved that.
That would have been funny.
It's just going to be Contra by that point.
Yeah, right?
And then you should just play Contra.
Contra is me and Stallone, didn't you know that?
But do you get the red headband or you get the blue headband?
Oh, no, it's Nintendo, I can't tell.
Why don't you figure it out?
I don't know. Anyway, so, yes, the co-op was easier. We blew through the caves like it was nothing. We got to the last mission, and we actually had some difficulty with it. Even with 2 people, we had difficulty with it. But we eventually got through it in, maybe, like Steve said, 20 minutes?
Yeah. Again, it comes down to the memorization of the characters and what their movements are.
Right.
Because, you can basically get your reticle set up. Oh, I know this guy's going to be here. I know I have to reload by this point because I'm about to jump into this segment. Like, it becomes a memorization game more than anything.
Now, when you guys got through any of the missions, like I know it was only like a couple while you guys were together. What about the leveling up? Because there was the leveling up system where you could just.
We don't even need to talk about that. That shit was just dumb.
But that's
pointless.
but I'm more
Encourage
curious out of,
repeated
like,
playthroughs. Repeated playthroughs.
Yeah, that's not happening. But
Yeah,
more
no.
on like the co-op. Did anything pop up in between? No.
I played off of your save, so I had a halfway leveled up character.
Oh,
from
did
the
you?
get-go.
Yeah,
Oh,
you
you
did.
ass!
Yeah.
Which I don't
Yeah.
blame you. At least
No,
you had that.
yeah.
You had double the wrath.
Oh, I reset it and changed the setup.
I went max health.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah,
have to.
toughness. Yeah, absolutely. I don't really know what else to say. I do want to throw out there that in terms of gameplay, I have played an arcade version of Rambo that was similar in design to this game, and I completely forgot about it until we started talking about this, where it was a light gun game, and
Yeah.
it followed the plot of the films.
It was the actual fix. Like it was like an Uzi. Was the
Or I think
light
it was
gun,
I think
right?
it was an M16, like it was a full size plastic rifle was what you
Oh.
use for it.
I
And
think it's
I don't
different.
I really honestly don't know and haven't researched if maybe this is like a poorly done port of that. I don't think that it is, because I don't remember that game being bad at all. That was enjoyable. That's probably what this game should have been, something like that, or just should never have been made.
I'm going with never have been made.
Should never have been born. But in recounting in my mind, how the game worked, it's almost like it's like Virtual Cop and like Time Crisis, because with Time Crisis you use the cover system and you have like the whole like hide behind and reload and do the whole thing. Like, I don't know what they were going for with this. I don't know why they thought in this day and age a rail shooter with a cover system was a good idea. I don't know why any of this was made. And I think ultimately the gameplay is a colossal failure. It doesn't. I have nothing good to say about the gameplay other than the things that I've said already.
Oh, okay, I actually do have one good thing.
All right, go.
Oh, one.
There's like 2 or 3 segments in the game that I actually like.
Helicopter stuff?
Yeah. When you're
That was
just
neat.
doing the mass destruction on the town below. You're just doing flybys, hold down the trigger on your machine gun, and you're just firing rocket after rocket. And I mean, you have like 30 seconds to do X amount of damage to the town below to pass that segment.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of fun.
Okay.
You're not like
Yeah.
shooting up the police
I guess
station,
you're right.
where you have to start shooting off like little shingles on the top of the police station to
That
start
shit
doing
was
more
dumb.
damage.
Yeah,
that was
dumb.
so dumb.
But I will agree. At least like the helicopter segments, that was fun because that's at least what you do when you're playing anything with the helicopters, just blow everything to high hell.
I want to talk about the graphics. Anybody have anything else for gameplay? Anything we're forgetting?
No.
I think
Any other nuggets? Any golden hidden gems or anything? No.
Oh,
not that I found.
My favorite character was the guy that would slide out horizontal to the ground.
Oh yes.
He was my favorite. Like,
But we didn't really talk about the ragdoll physics either, because I did hit a guy
Oh,
with the bow.
shit.
I hit a guy with the bow and he folded up like you had described.
yes, you saw that? Oh,
Yeah,
it was
I
the
saw
worst. Like,
Or like you destroy a helicopter and just boom, pieces of it come flying everywhere. It actually
Yeah.
made me think of Fallout 3 a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
I guess the best way to describe that is the physics of this game
Yeah.
made absolutely no sense. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, how does Stallone's hair never really move throughout the whole thing?
Use
Oil.
and hair
Lots of oil.
I use rubber cement in my hair.
What I do.
Good for your brain cells.
I met it down with olive oil.
Another
Have you heard of Elmer's? I sniff it too a little bit.
sniff
It's
some
great.
Elmer's and glue my gum back together because I hid the components in my butt. Anyway.
I think we're talking about my hair. We need to move to graphics. I think it's time for graphics.
We should move on.
All right, let's talk about graphics, guys.
Graphics.
Graphics.
All right, graphics. They're fucking shit!
Yeah, the graphics are bad. There's not much really to say redeeming at all about this game.
The one thing they did
For
very
graphics.
well is Stallone's like half lip to the side the entire time.
You know, that's because he was pulled out of his mother with like a pair of clamps and it like ruined his jaw.
All right, well they did a
Is
really
that
great
actually
job
true?
recreating that.
Really?
That's why, like, whenever he like screams or whatever in his movies, you never see one side of his face move because he's
I'm
paralyzed from.
Pretty sure that's actually a genetic disorder.
You can look it up. That's what I read online.
The guy that played Peter Petrelli in Heroes has the exact same issue.
Either way,
Actually.
they encapsulated that beautifully within the game. Like he said, you see him driving away in the truck, and it's just like full on to the side. That's
Yeah,
it.
because the facial expressions in this game are amazing.
They're great.
No, there's nothing good to say about the graphics in this. I'm sorry.
Well,
Like,
he's
I-
very
from
he's very oiled up throughout the entire game, which was just spot
That's
on.
an homage to the movies.
Can I? The thing that I think bothered me the most was the proportions of the character designs. Like there was one segment when they're at the funeral and you see the soldiers walking towards the camera, and it does a close up of their hands as they're coming.
Oh,
to
yeah.
the camera, and they have basically. I mean, just regular sized bodies at that point in the game, but the hands are like the size of their fucking like heads.
They're
Frightening.
huge.
They're frightening.
Huge hands.
There was a lot of them, just like lumpy people, like really thin at certain aspects of their body, but like way oversized at other. It just looked like what a DK mode. If you ever played that on GoldenEye, it kind of had that little bit of a feel to it.
Oh,
Yeah.
man, what a comparison.
See, if this was something that came out for like early
The
PlayStation,
Dreamcast.
I would even give it like early PlayStation 2, late PlayStation itself.
Yeah, I could see
era.
this next to
I-
SSX Tricky.
I could. It's so close.
I gotcha.
Such a dick. But no, it's honestly 2014, and that's the best you could do.
No, I don't believe it.
I don't know. It was bad. It was just bad.
The one thing that they really needed to nail, and they fucked it up, was Stallone.
Yeah. They did
The other
fuck it up.
characters, it almost doesn't matter. I think Troutman is probably the best character model. That looks like, is it Richardson or I can't
No
remember.
idea.
I have no idea. It does.
The
kind of
actor
look,
that plays the colonel,
yeah, it
looks
that
close to
one
it.
you can tell it's the same person. They
That's
fucked up
it.
Stallone. They fucked up all the other characters, all the other like villain characters. Like I guess they couldn't get the likenesses for those actors because I believe some of them are still alive. So that makes sense that they had to change the character model. And it couldn't be the same person, couldn't be the same voice either. Obviously,
But like, I totally agree. Like Stallone has very like chiseled features and things like that. And
Oh,
this,
go on
this,
about his
this,
chiseled.
this character.
Nice.
No, this character model literally looks like it was hit in the face with a shovel. It literally looks like they had Stallone and then they just kind of mushed his fucking face in. A little
Oh,
bit.
so we're back to Mario 64, where you can play with his face a little bit.
Yeah, a little. Like it's just it was just so poorly done.
Not to mention, like in the game, the one North Vietnamese soldier who shot Cho, the
Ko?
Ko, yeah, who shot Ko. He popped up about 3 other times, which was not
yeah,
him.
There were
It
only
was
about
just-
5 or
all
6
the-
character models.
They rolled it over.
They all look like Vanderlei Silva. They like black, white, Asian. They all looked the same.
yeah, they kind of
They
did.
all did.
Racist, Clark.
No, that's not racist. That's bad programming.
That's
Yeah,
called
I know.
multinational. We are all
Bad
one the
design.
same.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I really can't. I mean, maybe
and-
some of the gun like designs were accurate, but in terms of the
Barely?
graphics, yeah, I really can't.
I have a question.
Go.
Because I haven't seen the Rambo movies
Go.
since I was probably fucking 10.
Okay.
Honestly. Does he have a fucking giant Christmas ornament looking explosive at the end of his fucking...
Oh, the bow?
Yeah, the bow.
Where he twists it on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Is that actually...
is a thing. That's a thing in Rambo 2 and 3, and he takes down helicopters with that in 3.
Okay, but it looks like a fucking Christmas ornament on the...
Yes. It looks like a plumb bob or whatever that you use to like you hang on a string to like find center.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Or it looks like a drill bit that slowly like.
But
it's
literally
probably the
this
best way to
looked
put
like
it.
the size of a fucking fist.
well, not that.
Well,
big,
no, it didn't look. It didn't look that big in the game because it's not like it was like this big. It still looked like
It's the size of an egg.
it looked like yes, at
Huh.
least like graphically where it could be disproportionate and throw off the
And that-
trajectory, but
Yeah.
that is still kind of accurate to the movie.
It's one of the cooler things.
Okay,
that
I just
Rambo
wanted
does.
to know if that
Yeah.
was in the movies.
Yeah,
or not,
that was
'cause I
a
don't
thing.
recall it.
There were obvious nods to those iconic scenes in the franchise, like when Rambo says, "Fuck him." When Ko gets shot and he takes out like the lieutenant or whatever of the camp, it happens exactly the way it happens in the movie. Like he sees him out in the distance and he's got his pistol and he's trying to hit Rambo, but he's too far away and he's just like, "I don't even care. I'm just gonna take my time." And he like slowly like turns it on the arrow, like threads it in, pulls back, and he just blows that motherfucker up. Like, it's funny in the game because the body parts like go flying everywhere, but
Yeah.
it pretty much happens that way in the movie.
Huh.
The graphics are shit.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
but his sausage arms look great.
He had tiny hands too.
Yeah, small hands.
Maybe that's why I thought it looked like a fucking like the size of a fist because it might have matched his fucking hands.
It was pretty close.
Maybe.
That's my strong hand.
Oh my God.
Strong hand.
That's my strong hand. What I'm going to use is
Let's move right on past the music.
Let's go straight into the music.
Music.
Let's pull right back out of the music.
Pull out, pull out, pull out.
No,
So-
it's bad. It's
Well, hold on. Now, wait a minute.
Oh, Jesus Christ,
no, no,
Ralph.
No. You can say whatever you want about how bad the game is, and I'm not trying to, play devil's advocate here. They use the themes from the movies.
They used the theme
They
of
don't
from
really-
the movie over and over
Yeah.
and over.
Overkill.
And wait. And over again. Yeah, no, don't do it again.
Since we kind of do like music and sound in this, like
Okay. Go.
the voiceover that we already talked about is atrocious.
Terrible.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Did anyone notice? I thought it was really funny. It might have been like because I was like late and had a beer or two when I was playing. There is a part where it's like when you're sneaking around at night in the Vietnamese camp, you set off the alarm. The guy that looks at you he like looks over and it sounds like he is the alarm because he goes blah, blah, blah. like it didn't even sound remotely like language. It was so bad.
That's racist.
I just started laughing hysterically. No, dude, he
No, I'm
didn't
kidding.
say anything. I don't like. Yeah, he did. No. I'm. It was like. It was nothing. It wasn't Vietnamese. Like it wasn't Vietnamese. It wasn't.
No, to kind of piggyback off that, like even the first missions where you're in Vietnam, and really, where there's the conversation. The conversations or anything like when they have some of the North Vietnamese soldiers speaking in English, it doesn't sound like any Vietnamese person that I've heard trying to speak English. I'm not gonna lie, it sounded like it had kind of like a Spanish/Mexican accent on it. Just saying.
Your
Not to
accents are based on takeout, aren't they?
Not to mention, and nail salons, but not to mention that they didn't even look Vietnamese.
What mean pedicure?
No, they looked Portuguese. Like
Yeah,
they
Portuguese.
No, they,
How does someone
well, they
look
did.
Portuguese?
Look up.
Brazilian.
Yeah. No, it really.
Okay, in Brazil, you'd be amazed at the variety of the way people look. It's sort of like the United States. Anyway, sorry. Yeah, what were we gonna say?
So I have like two more things. I believe it's towards one of the end of the chapters where he does the scream and it's not the wrath. Like, it's not you triggering the wrath. It sounds like he is about to start fucking like a Guns N' Roses concert.
I think no, that's when Ko dies. When he's firing upon everybody.
And he's like, like it's
Straight from the movies. Anytime you hear Stallone, it's straight from the movies.
Okay. So then I want to know if this little snippet of amazing dialogue was in there. Tiny pieces of shrapnel floating around in his blood, cutting him on the inside. Like, it's fucking dumb. I don't care if that's from the movie.
That
or
is
what.
not. That's from the eulogy or whatever, which is complete bullshit. And,
Okay.
and
Yeah,
not
his
in any of the.
Coming up to the skin, cutting them from the inside.
Yeah, like it's just
pain
like,
ran
oh my
deep.
god, it's so.
Oh, another sound clip we didn't talk about yet.
It's over, John.
No, the mission complete.
How does it go?
No, I'm not doing it again. I
All right,
already
don't
did
do
it
it.
once.
You hear it again and again and again and again. Let's not like actually do it, but let's say at the end of every mission, Rambo says "mission accomplished" in this ridiculous way. It gets old. It gets old when you die, and Troutman's just like, it's over, John. And then you get back in, and he's like, it's like you taught me how to resist pain or whatever.
Told me to ignore the pain, didn't you? Yeah, every fucking like.
Didn't you?
It's the same sound effects over and over and over again. There's no variety. There's nothing. Also, did anyone notice the how ridiculous it sounded when you hit somebody with the bow? Yeah, it was like, thump, like it was just like fucking ridiculous.
It made me feel good.
Yeah, it just.
Let's move on, gents. Let's go into our. Oh, holy shit! Wait a minute. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
Clark.
Oh, this game sucks. There's not much redeeming qualities about it. I don't know what I want to say, honestly, for final thoughts. I am glad I'm not playing it anymore. I'm glad it's not going to be in my existence or around me anymore.
What does your version of hell look like, Clark?
Probably having to play this game again.
You're surrounded by copies of it.
Mm-hmm.
Your bed is made of copies of Rambo, the video game.
Well, yeah,
Your-
that would be
your
fucking
chair-
awful.
I will spend
Your-
the $12 to do
Your
that.
armoire, your
Yeah.
bureau, your kitchen, all the cutlery, just copies of Rambo again and again and again. Steve?
I mean, this probably has to be one of the best experiences I've ever had in
You are
my
a
entire
fucking asshole.
my entire gaming career.
You are a gaper right now.
I mean, it's I didn't just play it once. I had to play this like 5 times over just to take every little shitty fucking detail that's been put into this game so I could take it all in. I could eat it. I could throw it back up. I could eat that again, shit that out, eat that shit, and then shit it out again. So I shit the shit that I already threw up and shit once before. This was
that was fucking Shakespearean.
this. I'm glad. Thank you. No, this is 4 hours of my life that I will never get back. I would never get back.
Yes.
And I've sat and watched Harry clip his toenails, and I will watch that for 4 hours before I ever pick up this game again.
I cloak my
A
toenails.
short clip on repeat. Harry, final thoughts.
Okay, so one thing that is really something that's beneficial that we're getting out of playing this game. When we reference a bad game, it'll no longer be No Man's Sky. We have set a new bar.
A low bar.
Yes,
a
very low bar.
Low.
And when I was
I might rate this higher than No Man's Sky.
no.
Well, I mean, I might. You might not.
I just like how you're just like, nah.
Someone might interpret my words differently.
Sorry, I don't know where I'm going now.
No, it's okay.
it on.
This set the bar compared to No Man's Sky.
Yeah, no, I was getting tired of referencing that game over and over again when we were talking about a bad game, and for me, this is a new standard. No, I was actually trying to spend some time thinking about other games that I've played that maybe have been worse than this. I can't say that I've ever played a game this bad to my recollection. So that's saying something.
Yeah, there you go. It stands out in your mind for something.
I wouldn't recommend this game to my worst enemy as far as playing this game. I think it was a really big waste of my time. I did find some enjoyment actually playing co-op with Ralph, though. I thought it was funny to bash on the game with somebody else
Aw.
in the room.
Oh, you
I mean, you can only
bonded.
do so much when you're playing solo. So just to share those thoughts of destroying the game with somebody else, I think is definitely worth it.
Oh, and then they docked.
This is kind of like almost the room of video games, but not quite, because you can still watch the room bad as it is, but get enjoyment out of how bad it is.
Only with Rift Tracks.
True. You cannot play this game and know it's bad and have fun unless you're playing it with a friend and you're both heavily drinking and you're just ripping into a new one. This game is a colossal failure. I'm so glad I bought it for Bob for Christmas. I'm so glad we played it. I had a lot of fun reviewing it. This was therapeutic. This is funny. This is hilarious to me. I am enjoying all of this. I'm so glad I could share the pain because misery loves company.
This was your goal.
This was my goal.
This is what you wanted.
And I have completed that goal.
I'm glad you got that, Ralph. Note to everybody, this is Ralph's last podcast with Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go.
I will say one positive thing about this game. It made me want to watch the trilogy. It made me want to watch all the Rambo movies. So I'm probably going to do that sometime soon. But stay away, listeners. Stay the fuck away.
Dive in. Greatest experience of your life. Period.
Sure, if your only other experience was falling into lava. Like, I can't imagine anything worse than this.
Or the dreaded Candiru swimming up your urethra and putting barbs in it.
Oh, I was thinking of like someone injecting fecal matter up your pee hole, but that too, living thing can be. I mean, there's like
Can I just say,
Oh,
poop has been discussed a little too much this evening.
well, when we're already talking about it as a whole, it's hard not
yeah,
to.
we are literally talking about shit, the video game.
There's a better name for it.
Shitbo.
Ramblo.
Ramblo. Hambo. All right, that's it. Let's move into our scores. I'm done with this game.
The score.
Harry, your score.
1.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
I was thinking about A+, but I'm probably going to have to give it an F.
Ooh, is that your first F?
An F.
I think so.
Plus,
this is
minus, check.
This isn't even going to get like an E. This is just F for fucking waste of my time.
F for fucking waste of your time.
Yes.
Very well done.
That is lower than No Man's Sky, by the way.
That is. No, which is fine. You know what? Because because I gave that was what, like a D.
Yeah,
I gave it that
D minus.
D minus.
Hold on.
Yeah, you don't.
F
dear
three.
Lord.
Oh, I don't have your score for this one or No Man's Sky written down.
Yeah, F anyway. Doesn't matter.
I'm going to give it a 0.9 out of 100.
Not even 1%.
0.99 out of 100. Clark?
I'm going to continue with my arbitrary thing.
Of course you are.
Yeah, of course. Why would I adopt any other sort of thing? I'm going to give this one broken disc out of 4 completely wasted hours. Also, if our listeners think that I'm joking about the breaking the disc in half, don't bring the disc near me. Like, if we go to a convention and stuff and someone brings me the Rambo disc, I will happily break it in front of them.
Haha, look, this is funny.
Well, you're artificially inflating the price of the game then because you're reducing the number of copies in the wild. So just be careful.
But guess what? It's one less copy out there.
Just be careful.
One less person will experience that game,
right.
at least.
Actually, let's do a little thing for our listeners. If you want to send us a copy of Rambo, we will happily break it for you.
And we'll
Film it.
videotape
I will break it with my bare hands.
We will Office Space that shit. Take it out to a field and beat it.
You know what'll happen? It'll break, and then like pieces of it will get stuck in my skin,
Yeah.
and then go through
It'll
and
kill
cut me
you.
from the inside.
Oh, God.
Like shrapnel.
Oh, my God.
And
I know
then
exactly where you're going with that.
and then just to bring it back to the topic, if you donate $1, I will poop on it. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'll
There's
do
our
that
next
for free.
tier on Patreon.com.
Yeah, right?
Donate $1. Steve shits on Rambo.
I think we just shat on Rambo, but
Yeah, we did.
That was a metaphorical. He's talking a very literal.
a literal stinky, slimy poop.
Slimy poop. All right, someone's
Actually,
taking me
speaking
to
of
Chipotle.
the actual case, you'll notice that Rambo's face is there, or Stallone's face is there 3 times, but there's only 4 eyeballs. For some reason, there are 2 shots of him with only 1 eyeball, which to me should have been an indicator that from the very get-go, nothing in this game was going to be good. All right, we've got some questions from our listeners out there. We made a Facebook post, and we had some responses.
Thank you for the questions, peoples.
Yes, thank you for actually, reaching out.
Appreciate it. Try to get.
Thanks for reaching out to us, guys.
There you go.
We really appreciate it.
All right, I got one here from Ryan Horger, and we're all local to the Philly area.
What's going on, Ryan?
So whiz or no whiz?
No whiz.
I just took like 3 whizzes, so whiz.
No.
Do you not know the context of that, Ralph? Have you never had a Philly cheesesteak?
I have.
From Pat's or
in
Geno's?
Philly?
Okay, well, I did before I went vegan, and yeah, I'm pretty sure it had cheese whiz on it. But right now, no whiz.
Oh, all right. So
Fair enough.
Let's still go
Harry?
no
Both.
whiz.
Definitely whiz.
Definitely whiz. Yeah.
But also sweet peppers and onions.
See, I'm a whiz without. Like that's just how I order
Whiz
it.
or
Whiz
whiz
without?
out you.
You mean whiz out? No whiz?
Whiz without.
Whiz or
Oh, you whiz without. Oh, okay.
Yeah, whiz without.
Yeah, no whiz. Oh, by the way, for anybody who may not be local who's listening abroad, whiz means either cheese whiz or no cheese whiz.
Yeah, and at Pat's and Geno's in Philly, if you do not order a cheesesteak in a very specific order, in a very specific way, they will send you to the back of the line.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Yes.
Yeah, but that's why I go to Jim's, because that's better than Pat's or Geno's.
All right, so I got a question from Ian Forrest. Why Rambo be straight bullin'?
Because it's really good in the
Because
movies.
he's bulling, bro.
Yeah, he's bulling. That's
I'm reading
pretty
it
much
like Boo from Nintendo. Like
Booin'?
The Boo that like...
Bullin'?
Boolin'?
No, he's bowling.
I don't know.
Like he's balling. Why is he so balling? Because he's fucking a Green Beret who
I don't know, Forrest. I
stabs
don't know.
people in the neck and bows them in the face, except if you're playing the game.
Or maybe
and then
since
he's
it's a
straight.
B in the red square, it's actually the periodic table for boron.
Oh, why is he boring? Oh, he might
Boron
be.
Olin. Boron Olin.
Or why is Rambo boring?
I'm not boolin'. I'm
Is he
John
asking what the
Rambo.
atomic weight is?
What is the atomic weight?
I don't know.
0.235. Come on, bitch.
Ian actually asked another question, too. Is Rambo a symbol of the degradation of capitalism? Why or why not?
Oh no, that he is a strict, strong figure of the uprising of
I
capitalism.
defeated communism single-handed. I don't know what you mean.
Exactly.
What's
Yeah.
wrong with
Get rid of the goddamn socialists.
capitalism.
There comes
I'm
capitalism
a capitalist.
with a headband and a bow with a drill bit.
Probably, in answer to your question.
Yeah, I kind of agree. The whole, like, vet being picked on local
Oh yeah.
hero thing. So
That
yeah.
that happened too. Let's not really dive into it. But.
yeah.
Well, that's more patriotism than capitalism, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it's... Yeah. All right, we got one more question if anyone wants to read that.
All right, you just voted yourself in.
Yeah, there you go, champ.
All right, Matt Fusco. Why have they never made a Rambo video game based on First Blood where he is at home fighting the local law? That game would be awesome. Well, Matt Fusco,
It's your lucky fucking day.
yeah, they made that game. They decided to make it a on-rail shooter, and it fucking sucks.
Let it go.
Not to mention,
Let it go.
you had the option to try to disarm them, which means shoot them in the leg, which we can barely do.
I did
or
actually
you were
disarm
called a
some of
cop
them.
killer.
I did disarm some of them, actually.
Oh, some of them, yeah. But I also had a few where I disarmed them, and then on their way of falling down, took a bullet to the head, and then it was disarm.
So you're a cop killer.
I killed so many cops. I don't condone that, but that's what happened in the game. It made it very, very, very difficult not to.
Okay.
But thanks for the questions, guys.
Thank you so much for the
appreciate it.
questions.
Thank you for the questions. Yep.
All right, guys, we do have an iTunes review, a new one. So, Harry, hit it.
Yeah, this is submitted from Vectorizer99.
Vectorizer.
Titled Funny and Fun. I like that.
Nice.
I'm not much of a gamer, but the guys are knowledgeable, funny, and enthusiastic. Super fun game reviews, and that is a 5-star review.
Oh, thanks, Vector.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Vectorizer.
Vectorizer, we appreciate it.
Nice.
All right, gents. Well, if Rambo's done,
I think that's it.
tune in next time for Left 4 Dead as we review the classic zombie 4-person co-op shooter.
Mission accomplished.
Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over. Game over.
Thanks for listening to Super Fun Game Review Podcast Go. Stay up to date on our Facebook at facebook.com/superfunpodcast.